At exactly 06 Lao, under a pale blue Crimean dawn, the Black Sea coastline looked silent, almost untouched, but high above that quiet shoreline, something else was moving. 6 Ukrainian Beaver-class drones, small, electric, almost invisible to thermal sensors, raced toward the peninsula on a mission that should have been impossible. Their objectives were layered and devastating. Disable 3 major Russian radar systems, break through a full-spectrum electronic warfare shield, and destroy a BK-16 fast assault boat stationed at the naval pier. And the moment they crossed into Russian airspace, the battlefield changed. Because on the shoreline outside Sevastopol, reportedly the target zone, Russia activated one of its most powerful jamming systems, the Crimea 4. Within seconds, the entire environment turned into a war of radio frequencies, microsecond calculations, and survival. What happened over the next 15 minutes exposed the weaknesses of Russia's air defense network and demonstrated how modern warfare is shifting, almost irreversibly, toward low-cost drones and high-speed adaptation. But the real twist? This strike wasn't just about destruction. It was about blinding a key section of Russia's radar grid. And according to early reports, that is exactly what happened. The sky looked quiet, but it was a trap. As the drones pushed deeper toward Crimea, Ukrainian operators began experiencing the first signs of intense electronic warfare. Commands that normally responded instantly were now dragging by 3 seconds. The signal strength collapsed from 70 dBm to 110 dBm, one step away from total loss. For most drone systems, this would have been the end. Blind, disconnected, finished. But the Ukrainian operators had prepared for this exact moment. They switched their uplink to frequency hopping, jumping 40 times per second, faster than the Crimea 4 could react. Russian EW had a 50 millisecond delay. Ukraine's hop cycle was only 25 milliseconds. The result? The Russian jammer was always 2 hops behind. A burst power burn-through maneuver briefly cut through the noise, restoring partial video. And through that grainy feed, operators spotted their targets. P-18 radar, Nebo-U long-range array, 96L6E cheeseboard engagement radar, 3 eyes of the Russian air defense network, all reportedly active. But reaching them would require passing through Russia's most dangerous guardians. The Tor M2 battery was the first to react. Its radar snapped to life, sweeping for low-altitude objects, but Ukrainian drones had already dropped to under 30 meters, hugging the terrain, forcing the radar to fight against ground clutter. The move worked temporarily, but then the drones reached a set of overhead power lines, unavoidable. They had to pop up to 60 meters, and the Tor saw them instantly. Within seconds, a 9M338 missile launched. This missile is deadly, fast, but has one fatal limitation. It must travel far enough, roughly 1.5 kilometers, to arm itself. The Ukrainian drones dove again, dropping below 15 meters, forcing Tor's missile into an intercept geometry where it could not detonate. The missile streaked overhead, harmless, but the danger wasn't over. The Tor battery ahead had a second launcher, and between the two systems there was a narrow strip of land, 1.4 kilometers wide, where their radar coverage didn't overlap. A blind corridor, a flaw that shouldn't exist, but Ukraine had found it, and they were flying right into it. Inside that corridor, another defender was waiting, the Pantsir S1, a hybrid system, missiles for long range, autocannons for close range, and a reputation for shredding drones. It locked on immediately, firing 2 57E6E missiles. But something strange happened. The missiles failed to home. Why? Because electric drones run cold. A typical aircraft exhaust burns at 300 to 600 acquires C. The Beaver drone's motor runs at around 4 C. To an infrared seeker, that's basically invisible, so the missiles flew wide. The Pantsir switched to guns, 2 30mm cannons firing hundreds of rounds per minute. And this time, the rounds connected. 2 drones were hit, spiraling down in smoke. 4 remained. They dropped even lower, 10 meters, entering a zone the Pantsir simply could not target. Its cannon depresses only to 5 degree. Below that, a blind spot, and a fatal one. Russian soldiers on the ground launched Igla man-pads. The seekers couldn't lock onto the low thermal signature. The drones slipped through. Now nothing stood between them and the radar hub. With the final defenses behind them, the drones separated, each one assigned to a critical target. USWX 1509. The first drone struck the P-18 early warning radar. Reports suggest a shaped charge jet sliced through its antenna structure, collapsing its waveguides and knocking the radar offline. 06 to 1529. The second drone plunged into the Nebo-U, Russia's long-range surveillance array, reportedly tearing through its panels. 06 1546. The third hit the 90XL6E cheeseboard engagement radar, a key element for S-300 and S-400 intercept sequences. In less than 40 seconds, an entire radar cluster, representing millions of dollars in hardware was reportedly disabled. But one drone was still airborne, and it wasn't heading toward a radar, it was diving toward the water. Moored at the pier was a BK-16 fast assault boat, part of Russia's rapid response fleet in Crimea. This craft is designed for special forces, coastal patrol, and amphibious operations. But tied to the dock, it couldn't maneuver. The last Ukrainian drone lined up with the hull, descended to water level, and struck the BK-16 directly at the waterline. Early reports describe smoke, damage, and possible flooding, details still pending independent verification. But strategically, the message was already clear. A small fleet of low-cost drones had reportedly bypassed Russia's EW Shield, its short-range missile network, and one of its most widely deployed gun systems. And in the process, they blinded an entire section of the Crimean radar grid. Defense analysts have warned about this scenario for years. Keir Giles from Chatham House summarized it best: drone warfare has forced legacy air defense systems into roles they were never designed for. Michael Kaufman has argued repeatedly that EW is the true battlefield of the 2020s. Whoever adapts faster dominates. And this strike shows adaptation at its most extreme. Low signatures, low altitude, terrain masking, frequency agility, micro-scale precision. A combination that outmaneuvered multi-billion-dollar infrastructure. On social platforms, the reaction exploded. Reddit threads debating TOR blind zones, combat footage discussions about low-altitude drone survivability, OSINT analysts posting thermal comparisons showing why infrared missiles failed. The consensus forming online: this wasn't just a strike, it was a warning. Air defenses built for aircraft are struggling against drones that cost less than the fuel of a single missile launch. And the war is shifting fast. From Nagorno-Karabakh in 2020 to Sevastopol in 2023 to Belgorod in 2024, the pattern is the same. Small drones keep exposing structural weaknesses in large, layered defense systems. This new Ukraine strike, as described in early reporting, it fits that trend perfectly, not because of its scale, but because of the precision, the timing, the sequencing, the use of physics, geometry, and signal warfare, and the fact that 6 drones forced Russia to activate nearly every defensive tool in its Crimean arsenal. The situation remains fluid. Some claims will be confirmed, some may be corrected, but if early reports are accurate, Ukraine temporarily blinded part of Russia's radar network, using a handful of small drones, a risky low-altitude flight path, and a deep understanding of Russia's air defense playbook. What comes next depends on satellite images, verification, and whether Russia moves to reinforce the region. Because if this strike revealed anything, it's that the future battlefield belongs to those who can adapt fastest, not those who spend the most.